Welcome to Belshir Vestige. In the bottom right corner of the map, we have the Protoss player who is not gateway expanding. It's MacSed. Am I looking at the right Protoss player here? Whoa. I thought he was a gateway expand or die, but now he is showing us different colors. Speaking of different colors, up in the northwest, we have the red Zerg player hailing from Team Evil Geniuses. Needs to win 2 series to get to the round of 8 once more in WCS America. It is Revival.
Okay, Forge Fast expansion throws a big wrench into things. I was not expecting this. And look at this. A drone going to be scouted out here, or drone scouting out here, checking exactly what's going on.
Yeah, why do you see such an early probe scout? That has to be a little suspicious. And normally Protoss players don't scout this early in the Zerg matchup unless they were going to go Nexus first.
Well, Nexus first, Forge Fast expand,
right.
or
it's like a combination.
Some sort of proxy, right? Like some sort of
yeah, which
gateway proxy
is still very viable in this matchup, by the way. Oz did it to beat Scarlet to the round of 16.
Nice reaction, by the way. One probe will lose to a drone, but really, really quickly sending this probe all the way over. Just go ahead and block out this expansion, making sure that a hatchery can't put down. I know that sounds crazy, but you can actually throw down a hatchery, block this expansion for a very long time, and if you want to, you can cancel it, start an evolution chamber, because hatcheries do spread out creep directly after they're canceled.
Yeah, and it's like that Nesty thing of just trying to be annoying as possible with stalling Protoss for as long as you can. Now, MacSed is going to go pretty standard into a Forge, into a Gateway. You know, I'm so curious on what he's going to do because I have never seen MacSed Forge Fast expand. And that, it's probably because maybe I didn't watch some of Shanghai games. Maybe he did because MacSed did play some Zergs over there, but I've never seen what he usually chooses to do, so I don't know what to expect here.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy here. And not only that, let's be honest, like the Chinese scene is so, I almost want to say secretive, right? We don't see that much coming out from them because they kind of just silently get better and better and better at the game.
The word I would like to use, Andre, is mysterious.
Oh.
Yes. The Chinese scene is relatively unknown to us. We do know a few of their strategies. Minigun was pointing out that he basically took his PVT Phoenix Colossus after Jim, and we were earlier referencing MacSed as kind of like a Chinese Huck, where he likes going super aggressive with a gateway core as his composition base.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually asking a ton of questions to Minigun. I was like, "Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you do this? Why don't you do this in your PVTs? Oh, this is really interesting. How do you do this in your PVTs?" He's like, "I just do what Jim does."
I just copy what Jim.
I'm like, yeah, what's up with your Storm Incorporation, right? Like, why do you use it the way you use it? He's like, because Jim uses it that way. I'm like, oh, well, then I can't argue you.
Jim ways are not our ways. That's the only thing I've learned over watching him play. And of course, we're very excited for him, as well as the other players in his group, which is going to all finish out the round of 16 tomorrow at 3 p.m. PST with Mr. Bitter and Rotterdam.
That's going to be the toughest group, I think, too. That group is so stacked.
Who finishes out that group, Andre?
Well, Jim.
So automatically, it's the hardest group?
And
well, I mean,
what
about Polt?
There's
Jim. What about Alicia and
Polt,
Crank?
Alicia and Crank. Think if you're Alicia, like, that is the scariest group ever for you. Alicia or Crank, because you have to fight a teammate, and then on top of that, 2 world-class players. That is so, so difficult.
Well, we'll see if Jim's teammate MacSed can be the first of the Chinese players to come in. One thing kind of cool about MacSed, too, is that he thought many times about quitting StarCraft, and now he's opted not to instead, and just power through just a little bit longer, and he's had some pretty good results. So far, he's beaten Sage. He did lose to Scarlet, but now has another chance. And he's mixing it up. He's going to try to do a small little poke. Nothing really too serious here at the third base.
Going to kill Drone right away. Very nicely done.
Valve can save it, but he chooses not to. And this is just a nice little thing to do. It's not really game-changing. I mean, it could be if you allow it to be. But it's more of just a feel of where Zerg's at, their saturation, what kind of comp units are going to come out to save it. Meanwhile, Revival doing almost the same exact thing with his Overlord, just poking in, seeing what to expect, sees the Stargate. But now we start seeing the gateways being added on. Still doesn't imply anything. 3 gates in a Stargate is... what does it imply, Andre? It just means nothing.
Nothing. It's completely standard. He's looking for the robo right now. He's looking for the potential transition, because normally it's, you know, you do the little pressure in the beginning stage, you go into Stargate, and then you should see the robo around 8 minutes. That's the tops where you can find it.
And I would expect nothing less than MacSed to push out aggression. 6 more gateways on the way. MacSed loves them gateway attacks. Now he doesn't have a pylon in the middle of the map, though.
Yes, Frodan.
And this is still driving me insane.
You're killing me, man. Like, I want to say stuff, and you just say it before me.
Okay, I'm sorry, Andre. So what do you want to say now?
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
I am sorry. Well, you know what you can always do? You can always tune into the next episode of Counting with Brutor, which is bring up the production or the units tab and say what we have.
All right, we got 4 Phoenixes, 1 Stalker, and 4 Sentries out on the map right now, guys. 5 Sentries now.
But I was gearing more towards like the drone count. 71 drones, which is a little excessive.
I really think MacSed should have been pushing out probably 30 seconds ago.
Right. His gateways have finished.
Yep.
His pylon should be warping in.
I mean, normally you have your first warp in at your opponent's base.
I think he really wants to...
Oh, this is the sickest mind game, Frodan.
I think he really wants to keep selling the fact that he goes for 3rd base, but
that's what it is.
The only person that seems to not be fooled by it are the casters who can see everything.
Oh my god, this is so sick, Frodan. Because that's what it exactly looks like. It's like, oh, there should be a pylon on the field. If you're doing a gateway all-in, yeah, you're for sure going robos. A lot of sentries, nothing wrong here. I know their Colossus coming.
Now he knows.
This
he
is
sees the
so
army.
Sick, Frodan. Oh my god!
80 drones on the field for Zerg, and MacSed has so much army supply. 80 out of the 120 supply of Zerg is in workers, and now the Hydras are on the way. But they might pop right into the middle of the Protoss army. MacSed trying to see if he can find the window of opportunity where he can strike, and it is now because the Hydralisks are still not done popping. Revival might drop this map in almost an instant because he was caught completely off guard by MacSed's attack.
Yeah, Frodan, this is the sickest mind game you could possibly do to a Zerg. It's so infuriating because he thought he could just drone up, everything's good, but no, it's the exact opposite. There's a lot of gateways behind him. Everything looked like it was standard, and it is not anything but standard, Frodan.
MacSed is going to be able to kill off almost everything at this 3rd base. Revival has way too much economy, not enough army.